we will learn about sequence types in Python. Okay? So we have learned there are different types of models we have learned. According to uh, storage model, there are scalar types and container types. And according to the access model, we have direct sequence and mapping types. Data types are classified as. And according to update model, uh, we have two types of data types are classified into two types, that are mutable and immutable. But for you to understand about concept of mutable and immutable types, it would be the great. Uh, it would be nice to know sequence types, because uh, the sequence types there are because what we discussed so far are integer types are immutable, and dictionaries lists other are mutable types. Okay, so then only we'll be able to understand difference between mutable and immutable types. So we have seen these numbers. There are number types, right? These are immutable types, and direct access. You can see there is no there is, you don't have to go through a lot of stuff to access. Just refer that variable to get the value. That is direct access. And scalar, according to storage, these values are stored as a single value. Okay, and we have sequence types. So, like a sequence, you take a train, train as an example. You have a sequence of bogies, right? Boxes, compartments. Yeah, sequence of compartments. So, likewise, think of the sequence types as a train. They are data is stored in a sequence. Okay. But how for some sequence types, the data might not be stored in sequence in a heap, but they provide access through sequence through sequencing sequencing syntax. Okay, index through index that we will see in a moment. But you get the idea. See, values are stored. For some data types there are exceptions. Even though they are not stored internally, but they can be accessed in sequence using index. We will see what is index and all. So let's take anatomy of sequence. There are different sequence types. We will see that are strings, list, tuple. There are different sequence types. But once you understand this anatomy and how do you work with the it doesn't matter what kind of data type it is. If it is a sequence type, the way you access the data, the way you manipulate the data, or the way you update, they are applied to all sequence types. So you learn this thing once, and you can apply to any sequence type. So if you take a sequence, the data is stored and can be accessed in the order. So which means it is just like a train, like we have compartments in a sequence. Likewise, data values are stored in a sequence. Okay, and can be accessed in sequence, multiple values. So which means that it can actually, so previously we have seen container scalar type that can only store one value, but in other words, containers, some sequence types are containers, some are not. But the mostly sequence type can be a container in such a way as it can store multiple values. So let's say it has the multiple values, and how do you refer those values? Okay, so how do you refer those values though? How do you, so technically these values are called as elements. Okay, so you have first element and you have last element here. And first element, the counting starts from 0 here. Okay, that count is referred as a index. Okay, so of course it is a first element, but in a programming, so we refer that with index. We refer that with a special value called index. Okay, it starts from 0 and it ends with the n-1, because we are counting from 0 and last element would be n minus 1. But for suppose if you count from 1, there are 10 items out there. If you are counting from 1, last one would be 10. But if you are counting from 0, last one would be 9. Yeah, likewise. Okay, last one, what is the index of last one? N minus 1. And this index in a Python, you can index from last to beginning as well. Okay, how does it work? Negative index work. If you negative index starts with -1 and it ends with -n. Okay, as opposed to 0, which is a positive index, which is 0 to n minus 1. Negative index starts from -1 to n. So -1 refers to the last element, -2 refers to the last second element, -n refers to the first element. Okay, which is from the last. From last, first element would be the last element, so it is -n. Okay, so I hope it is clear. So you have sequence, first element, last element, and you have index. Index is a kind of address. Think of index as an address to refer those elements, which starts with 0, ends with -1, n minus 1. And there is also a special case where you can also refer these elements with negative indexing, which starts with -1 from the last, referring the last element, to the -n, referring to the first element. Okay. So we have seen this sequences anatomy. Let's see an example. Okay, how does it work? See here, do you see the sequence? So sequencing means you arranged some items in the order. Okay, let's say you have boxes. These boxes are arranged and there are 10 boxes. I want you to pick all in a same color. If I want you to pick one thing, the only way for me to communicate is to pick a third one from the beginning or a fourth one from the last, right? Yeah, so same way, if you are working with these sequences, you should be able to tell which one to pick, which one to update. For that, we use this index. Okay, and remember, index always starts with 0, ends with -1. Okay, and let's see, let me define one sequence. And the thing is that strings in Python are sequence types. Okay, I have defined here, Python is awesome. Okay, so if I type s on a, this is here, it is just a printing on the printing on standard output. Python is awesome. But here, if I use index, this is the special syntax. How do you address that element, particular element, using index? This is the syntax. We call it as some subscription. Okay, subscription syntax. So where we put within the brackets followed by that variable what index to access. If I use 0, if I refer 0 here, starting from the beginning, which is P, and -y, which is E, and there is a special syntax which is called slicing. Okay, you can select the subsequence. Here it is a substring, part of the sequence, by referring a first element and last element separated by colon, which means here it selects the first element and the last element. Yeah, here it is not third element. Here it works like this. Okay, if you specify 3, it will return you till 2. Okay, it excludes, always excludes. It is, if you learn in mathematics, open limits and closed limits, you might have come across. It's like a, yeah, we, I mean, in our last session we haven't discussed this far. Yeah, formatting. Huh? So here, so what is here we got the pyt. What is the index of that one? Pyt 0, 1, 2. Can you see? Index of t is 2. Okay, if you specify 3, it will return till this upper limit -1. Okay, okay, till 2. If you specify 5, you will get a till the index 4. Okay, so let's do this. Let's do this with formatting here. Let's define. Yeah, that is substring. Okay, so which is yeah, I'll explain that. Selecting, that is a truncating a string. Okay, yeah, it is we, yeah, we haven't discussed about this indexing and all, so that was about formatting. Okay, so now let's define this string as equal to Python is house. Okay, yeah, so if you refer 0, which is first one, right? If you refer, which one will we get this? Which one it returns? 5. Count from the beginning. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5. It is n. You will get just, you are just picking up. No. Yeah, fifth, index 5. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so here it is a minus. If it is -3, you will get what you will get: -1, 2, 3. Oh, okay, and there's a slicing. How it works with first one? Let's say if I type 3, and then 8. This is, we are slicing, slicing the sequence. 0, 1, 2, 3, which is from H. Okay, it is 3. 4, O is 4, N is 5, 6, 7. Till I we will get. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, it won't return till the index 8. Okay. It is like open limit. So excluding the, we will get a this is one thing always applies, it applies anywhere for the upper limit or okay, even it applies in a range. Okay, if you type a range of okay, 10, you will get a 0 to 9. Okay, which means that excluding the last one. Can you see, we got, this is index 7. Okay, so n-1 index we will get till, okay, if the last one index is n, if you assume. Yeah, see why? Yeah, it is a slice. This is called slicing. Okay, this syntax, what this syntax means, return a subsequence. Here it is substring starting with this index and ends with the index n -1, which is not including last index. Okay, return a substring starting with index 3 and ending with index 8, excluding last index 8. Okay, so that is the reason. What is the first index? Okay, 0, 1, 2, 3. 3 O is 3. Okay, wait, yeah, n is 4, right? 5. Sorry, we counted wrong. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. N is 5. 6, 7. You see? Excluding the last index, 8. Yes, which is 8. Yes. Okay. And this is about sequencing, and we have a list tuples. Okay, as well. But make sure the syntax is you understood the syntax well enough. It is applied anywhere.